Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dear D2R Dev, where we try to reach and petition the one dev who's holding down the fort for Diablo 2. Just keeping that battle net open, man. I think most people can agree that there are many uniques in the game that never got a really good, significant rework, patch, update. Along with all these rune words and things that came into the game and patches for skills and balance changes, a lot of these uniques just didn't get brought into this and considered. So I try to go one at a time with some of the ones that I know get no use, have no build, have no function for the game. So this episode focuses on an armor, the Steel Carapace. And this armor looks really cool. I mean, it's got a nice dark color to it, and it's a shadow plate, right? And here's what it does normally. Okay. 8% chance to cast level 6 Iron Maiden when struck, 20% faster hit recovery, enhanced damage, regenerate mana 15%, cold resist 60, big bump there. Damage reduced by 14, Repairs durability, and then you can socket it at Larzik. So you can kind of see what they're going for here. It's like Steel Carapace. It's kind of like this very strong armor. It reduces damage, massive cold res, hit recovery, the Iron Maiden when struck, the repairs durability. They want this thing to be durable, and then the Iron Maiden, they're thinking like enemies are going to bounce right off this thing and hurt themselves punching you, you know, like you're going to break their own hand on this thing. So, but that's not really how it works in practice. The Iron Maiden isn't that good. It doesn't go off that often. And, you know, the high defense that you could roll on this if it rolled ethereal is kind of helpful, but it's not the greatest stat in the world. So people aren't really seeking it, right? And it just does not compete for melee characters with things like Chains of Honor, Fortitude, or the ability to teleport with Enigma, Treachery, even a Hustle now. The Hustle rune word is better for the attack speed and the evasion that it gives. So how would you make this compete? Well, what I've done would really shift the meta, all right? It's one thing, it's one small change, but it really would, honestly. But it would still be circumstantial, though. You'd have to have a very strong two-handed weapon to make it worth it, which is cool because two-handers are also left behind. So check it out. First of all, I changed the regenerate mana to damage taken goes to mana. I left everything else and added an O skill, +1 to Blade Shield. There it is. See that? Now, the Blade Shield has a little bit of radius to it, and it does 75% weapon damage. So if you've got a big freaking two-hander like this, Oath Colossus Sword, perfectly rolled, look at that two-hand damage. It's up to 823. Then you can get a lot of damage. So look at our Whirlwind damage, that's 5,700. And our Blade Shield damage, 3,300. All right, you see that? How it said 3,300 on there? Yeah. That's kind of nuts, okay? So that's why this could compete with something like Fortitude. And a Blade Shield can also life leech and stuff. So it's pretty good like this. Just one freaking skill into that could totally revamp how people consider two-handers and how they consider Whirlwind. The reason I say that is because two-handed Whirlwind does not do radius damage like you think it should or would. It hits one thing at a time, and it's not as fast and doesn't hit as often as dual wielding. So two-handed Whirlwind is just kind of dead. It's kind of cool and fun to try, but it's just not that good in comparison. So what's the build here? We got Whirlwind, you know, battle orders. We've got this amazing Oath Colossus Sword, a Metamorphosis if we want to initiate Mark of the Bear, High Lords, Gore Riders, Ravenfrost, Nosferatus, Dual Leech, Ring, Laying of Hands, and the modified Steel Carapace. This is pretty sweet. So let's go test it out. The charms are simulating charms that I have in my game. So these are all 320/20s, but I have, so like in my online account, I have, you know, 320/14, 310/12, things like that. I have a bunch of them, so I could get a whole bottom row of those, plus some grand charms that have 10 to max damage, 9 to max damage with a bunch of attack rating, 35 life. I have that kind of stuff. Torch and Annie. I put on the torch, I got rid of the Firestorm proc, and I put an enchant, just so I don't have to watch the Firestorm go off a bunch of times. Okay, so there I enchanted myself, and we have Blade Shield, Whirlwind. Okay, so let's go test it out. Frigid Highlands. So here's these dudes. Now watch. Watch me walk over to these guys. If I stand close enough to them. There, look, he died. 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 Okay, so you see how, like, what the hit rate is, kind of, too? Alright, so you kind of got it. Now, if I, Whirlwind now, I can have a little bit of, radius damage. It's short, but it's there now. So, Whirlwind can actually hit more than one enemy at a time, essentially, by doing something like this. All right? Here, I'll stand on next to this guy here. See his health? See how it's working? It was kind of chunking away. It didn't kill him in one hit or anything, you know? But, look. Here's a group of elites. Here, let's Whirlwind all the way over to there. We got him. We got him. Leap attack. Okay. So this is one small change that could shift the meta, make this armor compete, and if you think this is too OP at level 66 required, then make it a TC 85 class item or whatever. You know, it's a shadow plate, so it's pretty rare drop in general, but you could make it required level 80 to use or something, you know? So let's go down here. Let's check out, oh, here's a bunch of archers, right? So these guys could hurt you a lot. Look, I'm amped. I'm getting hurt a lot. I can't life leech from them. So let's Whirlwind down to this dude. And I'm not whirlwinding very well, but there, we got him. And look at that. See that one leap attack? Hit that first guy, and then the surrounding smaller enemies died. You could literally, with this then, you could make a leap attack. Barbarian. So now a couple other considerations. Someone might say, well then, instead of the O skill, why not do level 1 Blade Shield when struck? The reason is because it doesn't work. Okay. Also, if I take this off, I don't believe it works. Let's just see. Look. I'm standing next to this catapult. Blade Shield does not work if it is not in the skill list somewhere. You see? This goes for Assassin as well. So if you have a Blade Shield claw just on swap to get Blade Shield for free, it doesn't work. You have to have a point into it somehow. Okay? You see that? Now let's put it back on. Still not working. So let's recast it. What? Hang on. Did I break it? What happened? What happened? Hold on. Let me try to simulate this. I thought it didn't work. Here. Okay, see, it's not working. Not working. Let's cast it again. Is it working now? Hang on. Oh, shoot. I think I broke it. Okay, so there's one consideration. If you, I I just found out. So if you cast it, take the armor off, put it back on, and try to cast again, it breaks it. It doesn't work anymore. So that's a problem, I guess, huh? So you just can't take it off, you know? But if I left the game or whatever, I could just leave and then here, I could get it back up and running. So that's one issue, I guess, I just found, is that it would break it to unequip the armor. So that's kind of interesting, huh? Let's go back in, make sure we're still working here. There we go. Okay. Remember, this is P1. Okay. Decapitator. Destroyer helm. We're offline. It doesn't even matter what those are, but I just thought I'd show it. Okay. So, I think you guys get it now. You know? Let me know what you think about that. If I've overdone it with this one or not. If it's too OP. I don't really think it is. I actually made on the channel a blade shield assassin that had 73% lifesteal with a death berserker axe in her hand. And she just stands there and never dies. As long as she can leech, you know? So I just think that this could really bring up two-handers and Whirlwind. I think it would solve that problem of Whirlwind only hitting one thing and not competing with dual wielding. Because dual wielding Whirlwind just hits more often, it's faster, it's stronger, basically, and grief is ridiculous, right? This change would then get you to consider things like this more, outside of just cool factor. You'd be like, actually, this would be like probably the best thing now with something like this. Would it break PvP? Maybe you just ban it in PvP. It'd probably be too strong, but I don't know. You guys could let me know what you think about that. So I have another Dear D2R Dev video where I go over the grandfather, make some changes on that, and it allows it to compete with some of these other weapons like Death and Oath. And you know, this all stemmed from the some of my first series, which was Why Items Suck, you know, where I go over these crappy unique items. And I was just like, what, you know, there's a lot of things in this game. So there's a lot of things in this game that I do believe could use just simple little changes like this. Remember, this is a simple change. This doesn't require you to code how Whirlwind works. Okay? This is just adding an O skill and taking away another mod on the armor. You know? All I've done is change the damage taken. I changed the regenerate mana to damage taken goes to mana, and that's even like, it doesn't even have to happen, you know? And then I just added the blade shield, and that's it, you know? This still, you know, people still would prefer Enigma over this because it's just so much better to teleport. But, you know, and I showed how you can't cast Blade Shield and get it for free. It doesn't work unless it's equipped, and it breaks it, you know, until you load your game again. So you have to keep it on, you know, with how this currently works. So, you know, I think that would be cool. Please let me know what your suggestions are if you think this is cool. If, you know, I know some people are just like, dude, they're not going to update the game. All they care about is Diablo 4. Okay, fine. So it doesn't hurt anything for me to, you know, suggest these kind of things. I still think that this game is worth patches and updates. I know people are falling off and not playing it as much now as we go forward, and like there's new things coming out. PoE 2 is looking really cool. Yeah, man, like that's all good, but there's no reason not to just kind of like mess around with this kind of stuff, I think, because to me, this game has some of the best itemization and art style and music and atmosphere and replayability and gameplay loop. The downtime is as good as the uptime, you know. in terms of the gameplay. So I just think that for a game that has this excellent of itemization in it, it would be perfection to have like just a few tweaks on some of these items and stuff. And you've seen and you know how people get really excited for certain things to drop in this game. That's what I'm trying to do. Like, you'd get this and you'd be like, ooh, this could be cool. You know, what can I make with this? This actually just like made my freaking Whirlwind Barbarian a hell of a lot better, you know? So anyway, let me know what you think about that. And I'm going to continue and do more of these as well as, you know, the off-meta builds. I just had an update for the Toxic Multi-Shot Amazon, and then I also had a new off-meta build that I don't think people have ever seen before, the Frozen Death Knight. It's a melee necromancer. So check those out if you haven't seen them. And thank you guys for checking out the videos, and eager to hear some of your responses, suggestions, and what other items you think I should attempt to fix or update to see if they could compete. Thank you, and goodbye, yo.